Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look at SUI, see what's going on. Just make this really quick and brief. We bounced off this nice little support range of roughly like 205 to 207. I mentioned this yesterday being a solid support range and potential for a lower liquidation sweep. So please be mindful, if you take a long right now and the price does pull back, 196, 198 would be a logical next area of retracement. So just kind of throwing it out there so you understand. But the general consensus is that Bitcoin is trending towards 86,000. I personally feel like we will see 86K for Bitcoin. And if that does occur, then I think we're going to see a bit of a run here for this coin. It is performing pretty well, all things considered. So let's take a quick look at the back-end liquidation data first, kind of go from there. And do me a favor, hit the like button, folks. Comment below if you get a chance. Deeply appreciate that. It will actually help grow the channel a lot because we get less than 5% of people who view the channel or view the videos and essentially like the video. So it's kind of sad, but if you can get in the habit of doing that, really appreciate it. To those who do that every single time, thank you again so much. It really helps a lot. Okay, so $2, there we go. So 198 to 201, roughly just say even $2. If we do come down as low as this 205 range, it would be nice to set some limit orders in that $2 area. Okay, so just kind of letting you know there's a lot of liquidation on the downside there, but there's a lot of late shorts entering in about 230 upwards of 240. So for the most part, from a macro perspective, there is more liquidation lower than there is higher. However, we're going to look at the charts to see if we have effectively broken this descending trend line. It does look like we are getting close, and we'll talk about that. But the truth is, taking a long right now is inherently more risky. Mainly why? You maybe ask why, or the main reason why, is liquidation delta is low for shorts, basically telling us that we have way too many shorts in the market. Now keep in mind, if this stays overextended for too long, which we've seen this pretty much for a day and a half now, the likelihood of a short squeeze is quite high. So I personally would err on the side of caution to say it's not worth taking a long right now based on this metric, but that's almost all the more reason why the price should go up too. It's just kind of how it works. And that's only based on me feeling like Bitcoin should continue higher and that we built a pretty solid base of open interest and volume at this 210 to 207 range. Okay, so looking pretty good here in the overall sense for a reversal. Once more, that's based on me feeling like Bitcoin's going to hit 86 to 87K range and sweep its upper liquidation range. It's got a really nice couple of bullish type of patterns here that are more likely to break up than down. Okay, so that's part of the reason why I feel confident in the consideration of a long here. But I can tell you though, from a technical analysis standpoint, and we see this a lot nowadays, there's not a lot of reasons to take a long. It's inherently more risky. So please recognize that as well. I'm only recommending a thought process there of a long based on the simple fact that that there's some continuation potential patterns for Bitcoin. Having said that though, if we look, we can see locally 219.8, basically 220 is that local point of control resistance range. So there's not a lot of meat left on the bone here. If the price does come up, I think we're going to see a solid rejection initially off 220. Unless we see a tremendous amount of volume flowing in, we're going to have a rejection here soon. Keep in mind, volume is low and tapering off and still under its moving average. That's not a good sign. So overall, it's safe to presume the price will continue lower with this coin. That's kind of the safest play. When we look at the macro perspective here, a lot of coins are exuding good behavior, being above the 50 and the 20-day. SUI still has yet to surpass that. So once more, just kind of reaffirming that resistance above us in the 220 to roughly 228 range. If you've seen my previous analysis, you'll know that 220 to 228 is that previous support level, and it should be treated as a new resistance. Okay, that's generally how it works, and it sucks, I know, but that's just kind of where we're at. So if you're going to insist on a long, secure profits in the 220 to 228 range, just based on the simple fact that I think this coin going to the moon is a pretty ridiculous thought process right now, as is with most coins. It's just not the market for it right now. So detach yourself to the moon process, the moon thought, because unfortunately, I never watch them, I never have, but I understand from my community that there's a lot of moon boys out there that are pretty much telling people to take longs to like the stratosphere. Add to your spot bag, folks. That's perfectly fine. Sell at the right time at some later date. But if you're going to be trying to hold like a leverage trade open for months, you realize how much fees you're going to be paying on that? It is stupid. So dumb. I don't think people recognize that. Either way, need to say at this point, 4-hour time frame is looking pretty decent here. We're getting really close to 50 on the RSI. We crossed over our moving average. Money flow index is still super low though, folks. And generally I like to follow volume. Volume is terrible. Okay, so this is a low volume pump. They typically don't last very long. So I hope I'm wrong and the price goes higher. But the only reason it would is mainly because Bitcoin is continuing upwards. If Bitcoin hits 86,000 and rejects, what do you think SUI is going to do? It'll probably hit 220, 225, turn around and go right back down to this 198 range. So I'm still leaning more towards the price action pulling back. This feels like a pretty weak continuation. Still very early to tell. If volume increases, I'd be much more happy to to boast about a higher price point. But at this point, I think this 220 to 225 resistance range is going to work as such until we see volume increase. Okay, so I'll go ahead and post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here shortly. Hope you learned something today. Please, again, like the videos before you watch them or as you watch them, and comment below. Let me know what's your position on SUI. This coin, are you starting to feel kind of frustrated with getting in at $3 or $4? I understand. I've been averaging in though pretty low here, and it's been nice to be able to kind of drop that average price personally. Otherwise, join us on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Look forward to work with you. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for your time. We'll see you soon.